All right, everyone. So the Calgary Real Estate Board has come out with their forecast for 2026. So let's quickly go on through it. Boom. All right, summary. So in 2025, housing market activity in Calgary transitioned from one that favored the seller to a more balanced conditions. Essentially, it's going to turn into more of a buyer's market this year in all likelihood. Let's zoom in on these charts. Sales and price growth forecast. So the red line there is the price growth. So we had a bunch of price growth after COVID. That pretty much went away in 2025. They're expecting it to be basically zero in 2026. And sales are going to drop off to, well, we're still above pre-COVID levels, but pretty much in line with 2025. And a forecast price comparison here on the right. Apartment prices are probably going to come down, and townhouses, the one bright spot might be the semi-detached prices, but the detached prices will be flat. Forecast risk. Okay, upside risk. We have a shifting stance with the federal government regarding regulatory barriers that impact the energy sector. Okay, that's baloney. The federal government is not going to let us develop our energy sector. They've been clear about that. Downside risk, U.S. tariffs and renegotiating of the CUSMA agreement, so the free trade agreement with the U.S. and Mexico, will continue to create uncertainty, potentially causing some downside risk to economic conditions in 2026. What they haven't mentioned here, because it's relatively recent, major issue is independence. If there's a vote in October, a referendum vote that is a yes for independence, that will bring uncertainty for at least a year. Long term, probably beneficial, but in the short term, definitely uncertain. Economic summary, Alberta GDP growth. So forecast to be 2.1%, so still positive, but down from the 2.3 of 2025. We're still going to be the leader economically for provinces in the country. Oil price, I think it's going to be $65, down from 77 in 2025. And they think that the interest rate variable will stay basically where they are. Employment, slower job growth in 2026 is expected to temper housing demand. All right. Still slightly higher employment rate, but a lot less increase. Excuse me, from 2025. And unemployment rate should go down slightly, but basically stay the same. Population. So population growth will still be positive at 1.5, down from 2.5% growth in 2025. Calgary population growth expected to be 1.3, down from 3% in 2025. And we're still getting a ton of interprovincial migration, but it's down from 2024. So pretty much all these numbers are down from 2024, but still positive numbers. All right, new home construction. So we've had a lot of rental homes, that'll be mostly condos, being started in 2025. Oh, excuse me. And completions in Calgary, a lot of row and semis, but a lot of condos. New home inventory is up significantly, which is going to be a drag on price growth. If If you look at the number of units under construction, so new home construction is expected to slow in 26, but elevated supply, particularly in the apartment sector, will continue to weigh on prices. So got a lot of condos under construction, and that weighs on the price of all homes, because even though condos are at the bottom of the food chain, it's the move up it affects everything. So if the condos are cheaper, that means the townhouses are going to be cheaper, which means the detached homes are going to be cheaper too. Rental, so looking at the vacancy rate, it's up quite a bit. Total sales, wow. Apartments, condos, they were down 28% year over year from 2025. But that's because we had a very large number of sales in 2024. Our 10-year average was 4,235, and our 2025 number is still significantly higher than that. Okay, looking at row sales, which means townhouses, down 17% year over year, still above the 10-year average though. And our semis, down 8% year over year, but still higher than the 10-year average. Looking at detached homes, again, detached homes in 2025 were only down 8.7% and actually below the 10-year average. Now looking at some surrounding areas. Boom, boom. Seeing a lot more months of supply pretty much everywhere. Okotoks is still pretty good, 1.8 months of supply. Strathmore has significantly higher months of supplies compared to last year. Chestermere has very high months of supply. Canmore is kind of a different market entirely, so we don't really talk about that. Calgary is actually not doing too bad with 2.67 months of supply. And High River, 2.34 months supply. Still balanced. Okay, Airdrie enters 2026 with balanced conditions, higher inventory, and less upward pressure on price. So we're probably going to see prices flat in Airdrie, if not a little bit down. Probably the same thing in Cochrane. A lot of new building in Cochrane. Okotoks potentially still heading up in price, but I would expect that to be tempered. Chestermere, prices are just going down in Chestermere. There's just too much inventory on the market. High River, we're still seeing a low amount of inventory there. So we could see the High River prices go up this year. Strathmore probably be flat prices this year, potentially down slightly. And Canmore is just very different because it's super high-end real estate, and a lot of these, some of them are for short-term rentals. Benchmark went up significantly last year. All right, that is all. Thanks for tuning in. See you all next week.